My grandparents were married for 50-some years, and my grandfather, until the day he died, called my grandmother his bride.
Yeah.
How important do you think role models are? I mean, a lot of people that grew up in this country, they come from divorced families and they don't necessarily see long-term love.
I think it's really important because after all, if you think of love as a dance, you know, if you've never seen this dance called reaching for your partner and talking about your fears and your needs and the deepest part of you as a person, if you've never even seen that, it's sort of like it just doesn't occur to you. It's kind of strange. You know, it's like you don't even really know that that's possible or that exists. Whereas if you've seen it, if you've seen your parents do it, if your parents have done it with you, there's some sort of body memory that says, well, this is possible, this is okay, I can be open, I can trust other people. Other people are basically interested in me, are going to be there for me. So you have a real advantage. If you've never seen it, it makes it much more difficult. Then you need more help from your partner in terms of trust and connection to go into those unknown spaces.
Romantic love is something that we witness as children, and we either witness it or we don't. That some people have it and some people don't. So I always ask couples, were your parents in love? What did you see? And what did they live in their lives? And I think it matters for men if they didn't see their father being loving romantically toward their mother, and for women not seeing their mother being romantic towards their father. Those are experiences of attachment and connection that we also carry with us.
And it can be any caregiver. In my personal life, my grandparents were married for 50-some years, and my grandfather, until the day he died, called my grandmother his bride.
Yeah.
You know, and he would introduce her everywhere and meet my bride Doris. This is my bride. I mean, so when I got married, I was like, what you gonna call me? You better think about that. You have to think about it, right?
And it's true what you're saying is we get this template from our parents, and both about affection and also about conflict and arguments.
Yes.
You know, we see how they do it, and then we learn from it, you know, just through experiential learning of like, how do you do this dance? You know, how do you show affection? What do you do when you're angry with each other? Do you go away or do you stay together? You know, and how do you talk to each other?
Yeah. So if somebody hasn't had a role model like that, where do you recommend they find it?
Yeah, I was just going to comment on that I don't think somebody's doomed just because they don't have that. I think you have to be open to integrating new information. You know, we all have schemas or just a way, which just means a way of looking at the world, and we want everything to match up and line up. And I think people start to just expect a bad experience if they had one. And I think you have to be very open-minded and know that your interactions can be different. You don't have to repeat the same cycle that your parents did. You're not doomed just because you didn't have a role model.
So where would you sense, or what would you have them do? If I'm a client, I'm watching the video,
I know
what would you do?
I'd have them read a book called Hold Me Tight and do the exercises. But that's because I wrote the book. But I want to say something about that. I think the other thing, I think you're absolutely right. You can learn even if you didn't have role models. And the reason for that is because that longing for that intimacy, that connection, to be able to rest in someone's arms, to be able to feel that you can talk about the deepest part of you and be seen and accepted and held, that longing is wired into our brains by millions of years of evolution. And it's there, even if we've lived in a world where actually being close to other people has been dangerous when we're growing up. That longing is still there, and my experience of couples is if you give them a chance, and you let them feel that longing, and you give them a little way forward, they'll take it, they'll go for it. Because we want that, we need that as human beings. That's like oxygen for us.
So it sounds like love and romance through the lifespan is completely possible, right?
Yes.
And it's something that we can all work on. And it sounds like role models are important so that we can see that it's possible. But if we've been there once with our partners themselves, and we've already been there, it's a muscle memory. We just have to go back in, get curious about them, and try again.